This week, Donald Trump tripled down on Operation Warp Speed, calling it a military operation and, quote, one of the greatest achievements ever in politics or in the military. Here he is.
Behind Operation Warp Speed, these mRNA vaccines that are the gold standard. Right. Now your health secretary is pulling back all the funding for research. He's saying that the risks outweigh the benefits, which puts him at odds with research the entire medical community and with you. What is going on?
Research on what?
Into mRNA vaccines.
Well, we're going to look at that. We're talking about it, and they're doing a very good job. And, that is a pass. With Operation Warp Speed was, whether you're Republican or Democrat, considered one of the most incredible things ever done in this country. The efficiency, the way it was done, the distribution, everything about it has been amazing.
Okay, so this is probably one of my biggest criticisms of Donald Trump. A vaccine program that killed at least 1.5 million Americans and injured or maimed millions more, including active duty service members, and the American rates of disability have skyrocketed in ages 16 and over following the COVID-19 vaccination rollout. It's been a gift that sadly keeps on giving. Now, as much as we support Trump here, and let me finish here before, as much as we support Trump here, his ego, for some reason, will not allow him to admit the truth about Operation Warp Speed. One of the flaws that he has that I can't stand. I honestly don't think he understands the veracity of the truth of the vaccine. I believe he was honestly trying to do good with Operation Warp Speed. So I don't blame Trump for the effects that the vaccine had on many people. That blame lies with the pharmaceutical companies. But his refusal to understand the truth and continue to praise the work of Operation Warp Speed, to me, is at least frustrating at best. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
I do. I think it's kind of like the whole Q thing. It's plausible deniability. If until the deaths are mainstream, he can't come out and say, yeah, I knew it was killing people. He had scientists, he had doctors, Fauci, if you want to call him a fucking doctor.
Dr. Burke.
Telling him what to do, how to do it, the vaccine was going to work. So that's what I'm thinking he's doing here.
That's why I don't blame him, because he was being told this is what was happening with the vaccine. It's safe, effective. It's all this stuff, like everything they said after Trump left office. That's why they continued that narrative. But at this point, I feel like he should at least know what he was told was a lie. And he should be at least out there saying, Operation Warp Speed went as we planned it would be, to roll out a vaccine safe and effective early on. But then I've also come to learn it was not safe and effective. And for some reason,
a lot of people can get sued over it. Like, look at Meta or Facebook. They had all these fact checkers and shit telling people their posts were wrong about the vaccine deaths. And X was doing the same thing. YouTube.
Yeah, and we're going to get into one instance.
Think about what you said, Eric. If he came out and said, you just said, what do you think?
That's not. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, they would lie to. Which, here's the thing: when he ran for office the second time, I was stunned that the left-wing Democrat media did not come out and say, "Well, he's the one who, the vaccines killed everybody," and then, of course, they don't want to cause a panic to everybody
because they were already bought into the whole Joe Biden thing. They couldn't.
Yeah, that's true.
They couldn't make him look bad. You get what I'm saying? So again,
and a lot of the left were vaccinated. So
that's true. He then can't. He comes out and says that what you suggested he'd say. Do you know they would have a field day with that shit? Huh?
That is true. I just feel like it's probably best to just stop talking about it at this point. I get you want to promote that one of your operations was a success and all that stuff, but there's so much not being said. But there's so much that people in the mainstream media, they've conditioned people to think these vaccines are safe. These are. But like I said, there's multiple places where people have just dropped dead, died suddenly. Or I know one person in particular, I think has cerebral palsy now because of this. There are long-lasting effects that they don't want to talk about too, because it paints one side or the other in a bad light. And I just wish the truth would come out about this, but unfortunately, there's going to be people still pumping. They were talking the other day about, oh, time to get your booster again. Yeah, you have fun with that, boo boo. See how it goes for you. It ain't touching me. I'm pure blood right here. I'll be damn. Yeah, you have to shoot me first. Not with a needle, by the way, too. But anyway, regardless of what Trump believes or doesn't believe when it comes to the efficacy of the vaccine, luckily Trump has hired RFK as the Secretary of Health and Human Services, who recommended that the CDC director, Susan Monterez, should resign. She declined to accept the resignation offer, so this week Trump listened to his HHS secretary, and she was fired for trying to keep the mRNA shots on the recommended childhood vaccine schedule and saying, quote, vaccines save lives. Despite the fact that children were never really affected by COVID like the elderly or those with comorbidities were at the peak of COVID. COVID is not at its peak, and it's not nearly as bad now as it was 5 years ago. On top of her firing, the following CDC employees have reportedly resigned as well after her departure: the director of the CDC vaccine unit, the CDC chief medical officer, the head of CDC's zoonotic division, and including this Fruit Loop right here, director of CDC's National Center of Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, Dimitri Daskalakis, has also resigned. I don't know about you, but does this guy look like somebody that you would trust for medical advice? Be honest.
Is that a pentagram on his chest? Is that a mask on that? All right, I'm done.
This was who was running partially the head of the CDC guys. And RFK Jr. just purged the CDC along these weird people here. 600 other employees of the CDC are also receiving permanent termination notices. So, yeah. Cleaning house over there at the CDC, and I think it's about freaking time. The way the CDC handled COVID was all wrong, in my opinion. I'm sure some have other opinions, and a lot of people were like, well, we didn't know at the time. Now we know better. No, you knew at the damn time. We were telling you, and you silenced all of us. You shut down YouTube channels. You shut down Twitter accounts. You shut down people with any dissenting opinion based on the narrative you were trying to push that the vaccine was safer. And it's the only form of therapeutic. It's not a cure. It's not a vaccine. It's at best a therapeutic. And there's really no evidence for that.
Because the definition of a fucking word.
Yeah, you change the definition of a vaccine to prevent a disease, to lessening the symptoms of. I hate to break it to you. I got COVID at least once, and I had very few symptoms outside of being tired. So where's the proof of those people who got vaccine and triple time boosted? It lowered the symptoms or the amount of stuff that you were feeling with it. Where's the proof that it actually stopped any of that?
We know people who got vaccine, got COVID, and it was 10 times worse than.
Yeah, and they've gotten it 5 or 6 times badly. Yeah. But no, we're the crazy ones. You see why this shit's people ask me all the time, Eric, why do you get so political nowadays? You didn't used to be like that. I used to go to your Facebook page and it didn't have all this stuff on it. This is why. 2020. I was told by Joe Biden, if he got his way with OSHA, I was going to lose my job if I refused to take this experimental drug without any long-term studies. If it passed, any company with over 100 employees, we're going to force it on their employees. And some companies did it anyway. Luckily, mine didn't after it got shot down by the Supreme Court. And they told Biden he couldn't do that. Thank God for the Supreme Court. Because I'd have lost my job. And while I may not always be fond of my job sometimes, we all have our problems with our jobs at times in our lives, right? We're not always perfect, and we always don't love what we do. But you know what? Puts food on my table. I've got a roof over my head because of that job. And they tried to take that from me. That's why it's personal. So you don't have to like what I say or what I do on my Facebook page. You can go kick rocks if you don't. I don't care. Thank you for checking out this clip from the Dragon's Den podcast. If you like what you saw here, please consider checking out our full podcast every single Friday night here on the channel, live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Rumble. And until our next video, guys, take care, and God bless.